everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince!
And it's time once again
to recommend things.
Hey Vince, it's so good to see you. We're back. We're after Christmas time, and Vince and I both...
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, yeah. Vince and I both got tons of cool stuff for Christmas, so the next few weeks of recommends are probably going to be us just unloading our Christmas presents on you, I figure. Or at least I got lots of cool geeky stuff. I don't know about you.
I got some cool geeky stuff.
Did you?
This is true.
Well, let's go ahead and find out the first geeky thing you want to show us. Go ahead, Vince.
Today, I'm going to recommend this thing! Good luck figuring out what it is. Actually, I think I will talk about it. Anyway,
Oh, okay, good idea.
I'm recommending this. I picked this up at a White Elephant gift exchange. I was pretty pleased with it. The person who bought it and brought it said, Vince, I was thinking about you when I picked this thing up. And I said, luckily, I did indeed end up with it. So, this is the Avengers Gift Set from the Disney Store. That's right. Now, this is going to be more of a recommend for the Disney Store than it is for this.
Oh, fair enough.
But this thing comes with, of course, Black Panther, Hawkeye, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, a combo of Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then the Black Widow.
Oh, I like that they mixed the movie lineup with a couple other major Avengers. That's good.
Yeah, and it's the comic book designs. So, hooray! Because, of course, Hawkeye is still in his classic costume, and then there's Black Panther.
Well, and if they were wanting to do straight-up movie, they would have put Hulk in there.
Yeah, which surprises me that there's no Hulk, but it's in a big green box, so why not? And I have this thing on display in my place, propped up by the Abomination holding it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, Abomination and a different box. But anyway, the Disney Store has a lot of really cool stuff that's going for Marvel stuff right now. They have lots of those big $22 figures. I saw Hawkeye and Iron Man and Captain America and yada yada. Yada yada was a really cool figure. But they have lots of really interesting Marvel stuff at the Disney Store. So now I feel like...
Isn't that Major Yada Yada?
Major Yada Yada.
Yeah.
And his... I can't even say that crap joke. I couldn't think of the word sidekick. I was like, his sidekick,
oh, who's
blah,
the
blah.
sidekick?
his sidekick, blah.
Ensign Blah.
Ensign Blah. But, yeah, the Disney Store has lots of really cool stuff. Now, I feel like I have to say that because I think that there might be some geeks that have their pride all up in here going, I can't walk into the Disney Store. It's for kids. Well, some of it is, some of it isn't. The stuff that they stock around the door, of course, for kids.
So we're superheroes. What are you gonna do?
But you know, if you collect figures, there's no reason to not go into the Disney Store. They have a lot of cool stuff there. I have a friend, Luke, who's been on the show before.
Right? Yeah.
Lucas, maybe we called him. I forget. But he collects Muppet stuff, and they had some really cool Muppet stuff in there since Disney bought the Muppets. And you can probably look for more Star Wars stuff coming. So
I think Disney and Muppets have been aligned for quite a while now, though.
Yeah, but you know they were kind of dead for a long time.
Right.
So since their recent resurgence, there's more stuff coming.
And there has been. You know, I'm surprised that Disney Store. See, we've got one in the mall close here, so so I go in there some too. And I have been surprised that they've continued to carry Muppets beyond the movie. Like I kind of thought that was just going to be a movie thing, and then we wouldn't see as much, but they've kept going with it.
They get their licensing stuff, find out that people buy it, and then they keep it going. So even if they're not making a bunch of movies or whatever, they're still making cool stuff.
The only qualm I have had with the Marvel section at the Disney Store is that they seem to get one big lineup of really cool stuff, and then it just kind of stays there for months on end, and they don't really change a lot out. That's the only issue I've had with them.
You're not going to go in frequently, but...
No, sure.
I would say...
I mean, even over 3 or 4 months, I went in, recently and was like, oh, it's kind of all the same stuff. Although they did have a Amazing Spider-Man movie figure that was a Marvel Select that I kind of wanted. Or I think it was Marvel Select, I forget, but I think it was. Have you seen it?
Yes.
With his mask off? But it has a mask you can put on him. It's pretty solid.
The Marvel stuff at the Disney Store is pretty solid. It just doesn't change out very often.
Right.
So basically, I say go in there once, and the next year go in again.
But one thing you ought to mention too is the fact that not only was this at the Disney Store, but that's the only place you could get it.
Yes, that's why it says Disney Store right on the front.
On it. So that's one of the things I do really appreciate is that now that Disney has acquired Marvel, they're creating Disney only things that you have to go to a certain place to get. That kind of exclusive stuff is fun.
Yes, indeed. They also have Spider-Man, X-Men,
I want the X-Men
and
one.
classic X-Men.
Have you seen the classic X-Men one?
Yeah, I've seen all those guys sitting at the Disney store.
I want that one.
I think the one that I was really interested in was Hulk, which is probably why they don't have a Hulk in here, because they have a Hulk line. But
I couldn't believe they had that too. That there's like a full
cool.
Hulk line. It's like, you know, like this. It's like eight characters.
I mean, it's a rich universe. There's lots to mine, and what makes me happy is that it's not just the movie. It's not just the movies, rather. So it pleases me. Anyway, check out the Disney store. So you recommended Spencer's at one point. I recommend the Disney store.
Fair enough. Yeah. I went into Spencer's the other day and saw something really cool too that I was going to mention after you said that. I can't remember what it was. Well, today I'm going to recommend the big Christmas present I got from my wife this year. This year, Sarah gave me
From your wife.
This
To
new.
you.
That's what I said.
Okay.
This is called Federation, the First 150 Years, and this just came out this year. It's by David A. Goodman, who has not written for Star Trek before, and I couldn't believe how good this was, given that. Do you recognize that name? Do you know him? Okay.
I know John Goodman. Well, I don't know John, but I know who John Goodman is.
David A. Goodman has written a lot of Family Guy. And
Really?
yeah, and was one of the main writers on that show for a long time. He produced over 100 episodes, and I'm only saying that because I got that from this, not because I know anything about Family Guy. I'm not a fan of that show, but he's a big Family Guy writer, and he also wrote on Futurama, and he happened to write the big Star Trek episode of Ready Quotes from Futurama. That's Goodman. So apparently he's just a huge Trekkie, and he knows his stuff, and he really knows his stuff. Given this, this also happens to be Goodman's first book ever, which I could not believe because of how well researched this is. So what this does is it takes, and it has this, by the way, I'll just mention this really quick. It has this base. Okay.
Oh, crap.
This sticker thing is supposed to go on the book, but it fell off and was off already when I opened the box, so I'm just not even using it right now. I think the book looks actually kind of cooler without the sticker thing. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that because it's like, where did that come from? This base thing, don't worry about it. This base thing is pretty much just a base, and it has this button on the bottom that is just an introduction by George Takei. It's just Sulu talking.
That's kind of neat.
Hello, this is Admiral Hikaru Sulu, Commander-in-Chief of Starfleet Command, welcoming you to Memory Alpha. I am proud.
And then he talks. And then he
says things with his voice.
And then he says things with his voice. So anyway, this takes a lot of information that is canonical Star Trek and fills in the blanks for the first 150 years of the Federation. Starting with basically eugenics wars with Khan and everything in '96, and then going all the way through basically Star Trek 6. That's what it does. What's really nice about it, of course, is that it doesn't just kind of like give you plot synopsis and reiterate stuff you know already. This embellishes, and so it's not exactly canonical. Because he had to add things, he had to make some stuff up, you know, to fill in the blanks, and it's a textbook. It is basically it reads like an in-canon textbook about the early days of the Federation, and it's really fascinating. And it's a lot of fun to read, and what I hate about it is that it can't just be straight canon, cause I love it. I love the added stuff. I love how he fits in Enterprise stuff that I didn't think worked very well. There's just see, I'm hesitating because I don't want to like go into vast detail just because you won't have any idea what I'm talking about. But the best part about this is the Romulan War, which sadly we didn't get any of in Enterprise because and this is canon when it happens. The Romulan War begins in the year 2156, and it's the Earth Romulan War, and it really is just Earth versus the Romulans. You're like, well, there's other species in the galaxy. How did that happen? How did just Earth and the Romulans get in a war together? And it always seemed kind of generic to me, because it's an idea that we're given in TOS, and it's like, why did that happen? How does that even work? He makes it work. It's really cool. And anyway, what's amusing is that the Earth Romulan War canonically starts 2 years after Enterprise gets canceled. So Enterprise begins in 2151 and it ends in 2154, and the Earth Romulan War begins in 2156. At the end of Enterprise, the very last episode, which I don't like very much, jumps ahead to 2160. or 2161, I think. Yeah, 2161. To give us the signing of the Federation Charter, so that they could get that in the show, and because that's really important. So they got that in there. Well, the Earth-Romulan War fills in the gaps as to why it took so long between the signing of a charter for the coalition of planets, which we get toward the end of Enterprise, which is basically the humans, the Vulcans, and the Andorians, and the Tellarites, and a couple other species, forming the coalition of planets. And you're like, okay, well, that's not the Federation yet. And then you get to the last episode, and they're signing the Federation Charter. You're like, what's the difference between the Coalition and the Federation, and why did it take another, 6 years to get it all together? This has such an interesting explanation. The politics are really, really solid and make a lot of sense. What this does is it says that the Coalition was a kind of a pact between these planets where they would trade back and forth resources and things like that, but it wasn't a military union. So because some of them were afraid to go that far, and there's a lot of reasons that I won't get into as to why some of the planets, especially Andoria and planets, didn't want to do that. And so what happens then is you have the Earth-Romulan War. The Romulans think that Earth is becoming kind of the center of the galaxy of these planets that are starting to get together, and if they can take out Earth, then these planets won't get together and form this military pact, and it'll be easier for them to conquer, because the Romulans are conquerors. And so they go to war with Earth. The reason it's just a straight-up Earth-Romulan war is because the Coalition is not a military union, so they don't have allies. They don't have war-fighting allies, and the fact that Earth, by the skin of its teeth, manages to defeat the Romulans finally by the end is the reason that the Federation gets founded in the first place, because now they all feel like they need an actual military union. So that fills in those gaps, and that's why it happens. This thing gives you really interesting biographies, kind of mini biographies as it goes along, of characters that whose names have been thrown out here and there, or who we found a body of in TOS or TNG floating in space somewhere, and we know they were important, but we didn't know everything about them, and it explains who they are and stuff. It makes Archer a way better character than he actually was in Enterprise. You're on a page here about the Organian Peace Treaty. That's really fascinating, because in the original series we get the Organians, which is this race of really powerful beings who are on a new level of existence that don't want that don't believe in war at all, and they force the Earth and the Klingons to have a peace treaty. And what this book does is it goes even farther, and it says that the minister of the Organians actually shows up to the Earth Council and the Klingon Council simultaneously, because he has the power to be in two places at once, and makes them sign this charter from afar, and it's really cool. They give you all these first-person accounts and these really cool handwritten documents, and this guy has really good voice for everybody. It feels really authentic, it feels really real, and I wish this thing was canon. This is, for years and years, I've said that I don't want anything to be canon for Star Trek except for screen stuff, because, that's just how it's always been, and you don't want to start contradicting yourself. But there are now two really good cases for the idea that there ought to be maybe some exceptions to that. This is one of them. The Countdown comic that led into the 2009 movie, I think, is another one. So anyway, I could talk about this a long time, and might even at some point do a full-on review of it. It's a great, great book. So anyway.
So what you're saying is that this book unifies the Star Trek universe and has information about unions within the universe that it unifies.
Yes!
I like it.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Anyway, that's what I recommend. And,
a union via handshake.
Thanks everybody for watching Recommends, and we'll recommend something for you once again next week. I know I've got lots of really cool stuff to bring up, so
I got a bit too.
Looking forward to that. Thanks as always for watching. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince!
We'll see you next time.